Liebe Community, heute möchte ich euch ein Video zeigen, das bislang nur den Spendern vorbehalten war. Aber ich habe so viele positive Rückmeldungen von euch bekommen, dass ich euch auch gerne an diesem wirklich schönen Video teilhaben lassen möchte. Viel Spaß damit!
Hallo!
I was brought up in a place called Leicester in the Midlands of England. I think, let's say we didn't have much money. I was brought up in the 50s and the early 60s as a kid, and most of the 60s. I remember going around the back of the factory where my father worked with my mother on a Thursday lunchtime, so he could hand that week's wage packet to her so we could eat that night. That's how hand to mouth it was. So we didn't go places. We rarely went on holiday. When we did, we came to the Isle of Wight, which is why I fell in love with it and why I'm here now. But one day, out of the blue, my father, I was a little kid, it must have been about late 50s, maybe 58, 59. And he announces we're going to London on the train, the whole family. And it's like, we don't do that. But we went, and I can still see it now. I can see this picture of all these legs, this vast crowd of people trying to get a ticket on the train. Going on a steam train, I went to London. Now, in my entire knowledge of my father, he never once mentioned the word astronomy or talked about the heavens in any way, shape or form. We get to London, and he takes us to the planetarium, right? I didn't know what a planetarium was. It was next to Madame Tussauds in Baker Street. It's not there, the building's there now, but it's not a planetarium anymore, I understand. So I go into this planetarium. It's all kind of new, because we're talking late 50s, and the London Planetarium, which we went to, actually opened in 58, so maybe that's why we went, because it was so new. Anyway, I'm sitting there, a little kid, if it was 58, 59, I'd be, 6 or 7. And I'm looking around thinking, what's going to happen? And there's this contraption in there, and there's darkness in the sky, and then the show starts. And it's midday, it must have been midday, something like that. And suddenly, I'm sitting there, and the night sky is above my head. And the stars were moving. And the stars looked like they looked when I look up as a kid at night. And there are times in your life when something hits you. It really smacks you and you don't forget it. That was one of my moments. It impacted that moment when I saw the heavens on that dome ceiling of the London Planetarium in the late 50s. It imprinted something on me, which I've never forgotten. And the last couple of years I was out in the countryside, about 2 or 3 miles from here, just sitting on a bench, and I just looked up. And when I looked up, it was daytime. I saw the sky as a gigantic dome, and I thought, is this real? Is this a projection? Like the planetarium, it came back to me. That story came back to me when I had that experience. And then a friend of mine, Neil Haig, who does artwork for my books, I was talking to him about this. He said, "Have you seen that movie, The Truman-Show?" And I hadn't been out a long time, but I got it on DVD when he mentioned it, and I watched it here. The people haven't seen The Truman-Show. It starred Jim Carrey, and he was born on the set of a soap program, but he didn't know that. So he's growing up thinking this is real in life, and his mother's his mother and his girlfriends, and they're all bloody actors. And every time he tries to get out of this little town, this set as it turned out to be, something stopped him. And he started to get, in the end, suspicious what's going on. And cut a long story short, eventually he gets on this boat, which he thinks is going out to the open ocean. And he goes out, and he goes out, and he goes out. And eventually he comes to the wall of this massive frickin' dome, in which it's all been going on in. And then he walks up the edge of the dome and out the door of the dome into the world as it really is. And whoa, that hit me like a train when I watched that. I thought, that's it. Vibrationally, holographically, in terms of projections that we decode, that is our situation. And then, this soap show, the Truman-Show, which everyone was watching, the only person who didn't realise was him, that it was all a big act. The operations centre, where it was all manipulated from, looked like the moon. And I think that whoever wrote the Truman Show got seriously bloody lucky, or had some idea what he was writing about, symbolically.
Ich hatte euch ja versprochen, ein Video zu erstellen, in dem David Icke etwas Privates über sich sagt und ich auch. So, David war dran, jetzt bin ich an der Reihe. Obwohl ich einige Jahre jünger bin als er, habe ich doch ganz ähnliche Kindheitserlebnisse gehabt. Mein Vater war Maurer, hat auch eine Lohntüte bekommen. Das gab es ja dann, glaube ich, ab den 70ern so langsam schon nicht mehr. Auch wir konnten uns keinen großartigen Urlaub leisten. Die einzigen Kurztrips, an die ich mich erinnere, war der Besuch bei Verwandten in Castrop-Rauxel. Vom Sauerland aus mussten wir mit Bus und Bahn uns durchkämpfen. Ein Auto konnte sich auch damals noch kaum jemand leisten. Das ist ja heute auch ganz anders geworden.
You know, there are times in your life when something hits you. It really smacks you and you don't forget it. That was one of my moments.